All right, welcome to the after work video. I used to do a video 3 times a day when I was going for the CCIE, the morning video, the lunchtime video, and the after work video. Led to failing results, so maybe it was a bit too much, but I haven't done regular videos for like a month, and I like doing videos. That was a bit much, I would say, when I was going for the JNCIE, but every once in a while, every other day, a few times a week, like heck yeah. All right, so I'm following the numbers. If we take a look at my videos and sort it by popular, 1, 2, 3 of my top 4 performing videos. 3 of them are from this series, Python for DevOps, where I read a book I purchased from Amazon called Python for DevOps. So I'm going to continue that series. I'm going to follow the numbers. I've got almost 5,000 views on one of them where I look really goofy. So I'm sorry, my webcam actually stopped working. So you'll just have to trust me that I look even goofier than that right now. So hopefully that will lead to a lot of views, but you'll just have to imagine that I look goofy, and it shouldn't be hard to do that. All right, so pulling up where I was in the book, I have to get these prior examples to work in order to move on with the book. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going back in time and I'm setting up the prerequisite examples. So last video, we'll take a look at that. So we'll go to the latest. And we'll look at the last video. I made a note here on what I was doing. So, okay, well, yeah. So I was going through and setting up my account for free tier services. I have a valid account number now, but I have to be very mindful about security practices. So one of the best practices is to use an IAM account rather than your root user account. I set that up, but it's important. I set up multi-factor. So I'm doing some of these best practices now, but definitely it's important that I don't just show any information publicly on this channel just willy-nilly. I need to think about like what I'm showing and be careful to show things that make sense to show and to not show things that don't. So I'm going to continue on with the setting up that example. So it's the URL shortener example is one of the prerequisite examples. And I'm very nearly through the initial setup of it, but I need to put in valid numbers here. So I need to put in a valid count number, valid region, valid VPC ID. Now, I'm going to try to use this with the AWS free services tier. If I have to pay for this, I might shut it down. Maybe I can do under $50 on it. I actually did try not to speak too much, but I have had a situation where if I had spent $30 just doing something on cloud, it would have been a good use of money for sure. All right, so here we go. So export, and what I mean is if I had invested in learning cloud by putting some real money into it, that's what I mean. Is like it's an investment, in your education. So like I'm willing to spend some on learning cloud now. I really wasn't before, but hopefully it does not have to. Hopefully that won't be necessary. So what I'm gonna do is pause the video, fill in all of these with real values, and then I'm going to paste it into my development environment. So if I open up Visual Studio Code, and I open up a folder. Oh, and you know what? This I opened up Visual Studio Code outside of my virtual environment. So the first thing I want to do is go into my virtual environment, which is Wassel, Windows Subsystem for Linux. There we go. We can see I'm running Ubuntu version 22. So now I'm going to go into the repo that I'm working in, which is AWS CDK examples. And from here, I'll open code. And it's going to have to download something extra so that I can open it, in my non-virtual environment from the virtual environment. But we can see that happened really easy. One of the hard things about learning is if that didn't go right and you're a new learner trying to figure this out, you're kind of dead in the water. But went good for me. So I'm going to fill in all of these variables, and then I'm going to paste them in to here. And then I'll come back. Another thing I'm going to do is if you do history, it'll keep track of your history going way back. So one of the and you can actually see where I entered in those values before. So one thing I don't want to do on this video is accidentally do history and then go and see my real account information. So I'm going to do a history-c. And then history-w to save. Well, I probably don't even need to do the -w, to be honest. But now you can see if I do a history, now the history's been cleared out. So I'm definitely going to do that. So when I'm back, we should see this no more. I'll clear out the file. And then we should see my history is blanked out again. And then I'll be able to actually follow along and do the next deploy command, because I'll be using my free tier services on AWS. All right, so I'll pause it and I'll be right back. All right, and I'm back very briefly. I just want to make it clear. This is the best practice for security. You log in with an IAM user account instead of a root user. I was using the root user before, and that's really not the way to go. The other thing I can do is hit next, and hit next again, I think, because we got the password. You know what? Let me pause just to make sure. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to show. Now I've got that multi-factor authentication prompt. That's another really important security practice to have set up. So I have to go on my phone and use an app and then enter in the code from the app. And you have to link the app to the phone by hitting a plus sign in the app. There's multiple different ways you can do it, but this is a important security best practice. So I'll pause it and be right back. Okay, so I'm back. There's a few things I can show here, so I can't collapse this up there or that'll show my account information, but I can show what I'm doing right now. I'm setting up a VPC. That's an important value to fill in. So I'm just kind of winging it myself. I'm hoping I don't set up something where I get charges. But we can see the different options here. Anything that's optional, I'm probably not going to fill out for the subnet. I'll just do the recommended defaults, and hopefully I won't get any charges, and I can have all the information I need to complete this example. So I'll be back. All right, so this is another one that I can show publicly. I've got the information here that was in the book. So we've got the zone name is waltersco.co. Then we've got a zone ID, which is just a fake zone ID. And then we've got a zone cert. So I'm not seeing how to do this. So I'm going to need some guidance for this. So I can do the lesson, the guidance from artificial intelligence, which is so awesome. Everyone here, please use ChatGPT. You can use the free tier. It's probably fine. $20 a month. There's also other kinds. There's Gemini. There's Perplexity. Start using AI. Get comfortable with using AI. Learn how to build your own AIs and implement your own AIs, because if you really want AI to be useful, in my opinion, LLMs are just one aspect of what AI is. So if you're only using LLMs, you're not using or even aware of what else AI can do. So learn about AI so you're not left behind just using LLMs while there's much more powerful tools out there. So that might be something at some point I'll be doing on this channel. We can see if I go back to my library. I do have an AI book. I'm really excited to try to get to that. But for now, I'm following the data. I've got a lot of views on this series, and it's like there's only like a third left of the book, so I might as well finish it out. All right, so now I'm going to ask the AI here. In the context of AWS, what do these values mean, and how do I set them up? These values are fake. They are from a book. How do I get real values for free?
The values you provided are environment variables that are meant to configure certain aspects of an AWS, Amazon Web Services setup, particularly related to hosting a domain and securing it with SSL TLS certificates. Here's a breakdown of what each of these variables represents. Waldo_SCO_zone_name. This appears to represent the domain name for which you're configuring settings, in this case, waldosco.co. In AWS, this would typically be used in the context of Amazon Route 53, which is AWS's DNS, domain name system, web service. WALTERSCO_zone_ID. This is likely the ID of a hosted zone in Amazon Route 53. A hosted zone is a container that holds information about how you want to route traffic on the internet for a specific domain, such as waldosco.co. The 333333333 is a placeholder for what would be a unique identifier for a hosted zone in your AWS account. WALTERSCO_zone_cert. This appears to be an ARN, Amazon resource name, for an SSL TLS certificate managed by AWS Certificate Manager, ACM. ACM is a service that lets you easily provision, manage, and deploy public and private SSL TLS certificates for use with all services in your internal connected resources. The ARN is a unique identifier for a specific resource in AWS, in this case, a certificate for waldosco.co. How to set these up? Setting up a domain, waldosco_zone_name. If you don't already own a domain, you can register one through AWS Route 53 or transfer a domain from another registrar to AWS. If you already own a domain, you can start using it with all services by creating a hosted zone in Route 53. Creating a hosted zone, waldosco_zone_ID, in AWS Route 53, create a hosted zone for your domain.
All right, I actually wasn't paying attention. I'm looking for. I have a remote control to my treadmill, and I wanted to start walking, but it's a remote control. So guess what? It's lost. Usually I don't lose it though. It's because I have it right by my treadmill. So it's kind of messing with my head a bit because I know it can't be far. So I feel like I should just spend a lot of time looking for it. But anyway, if I really want to look for it, I gotta pause the video. So I want to keep on track for now. The values you've provided, yep. So this is actually a domain name. So these are AWS Route 53 DNS services. So I'm going to pause it again because I don't want my private information showing, and I might take a look for my treadmill remote. It'd be great if I could do some walking on that, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm all set to unpause it for a bit. So I just need to go to services, networking, and then Route 53. And then I need to set up some DNS services that I'll have to do off camera. All right, and I think I'm good. I'm good now. Again, we see all my account information would be down here. It would be down here in Notepad. So nothing is shown on here that is problematic right now. But we can see there is this view pricing. I'm not sure if this is part of the free tier. So if it's not part of the free tier, then I gotta really ask myself, is this worth it? And honestly, the answer might be no, because I'd be better off just spending. I can probably pass the practitioner cert, so I'd be better spending $100 on that and just getting the cert than I think seeing this video all the way through. So I think I'm going to watch this video, though.
The Domain Name System, or DNS, is basically the phone book for the internet. It translates human-readable names like www.example.com to numeric IP addresses that computers use to talk to each other.
Yeah, okay, we know.
Amazon Route 53 is a DNS service that gives developers and businesses a reliable and cost-effective way to route end users to
Free
internet
tier.
applications.
Free
Route
tier.
53 provides DNS service with 100%
Gosh, shut up.
availability. The distributed nature of our DNS servers help ensure a consistent
Oh
ability
my
to route
god.
end users.
Tell me how much it costs. They're literally trying to tell me the basics of DNS. It's like, I seriously hope anyone trying to buy a cloud service for DNS knows why they're trying to buy it. Like, tell me this is what I need to see. But I'm gonna click it off camera and check it over that there's no information shown, and I'll be right back. All right, and I'm back. It looks like there is this getting started for free. So you pay for what you use, no upfront fees, and yeah, you can get started for free. It looks like we've got the pricing here, so 50 cents a month. And you know what? Like, I have bought DNS before. I have bought a personal web page. I've paid for that, and it was like $12 a year. So this might be a bit less expensive than that, because it's for, you know, it's going to be 50 cents per month. So yeah, it's going to be significantly less expensive than that. It's going to be about half the price. And then I can put up my, like, a personal site. You know, this is something I've been wanting to do. It looks really professional to, if you're wanting to be taken seriously as a internet professional, having a good, clean, awesome web page to represent you is a good thing to do. So now traffic flow is kind of strange. There's extra pricing for that. I don't know what that means. I'm scared. I cannot have unauthorized charges. But I'm gonna click the get started for free because it looks like I'm not even signed in. So it shouldn't show any personal information. You know what? I'm kind of paranoid about this. I feel like I kind of dodged a bullet here, but yeah. So I'm paranoid about this. I'll pause it. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm almost there. I was able to create a zone. I have my zone ID. I have my zone name. So now I'm just trying to get the zone cert. I really don't understand how to get that. So to provision a certificate, you use the certificate manager. You can request a public certificate for free. And then once the certificate is issued, then you get the ARN identifier. So I'll do that. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I can show ChatGPT. I don't have any specific information in there. So I need to find, let's see here. So you can get it through the AWS certificate manager. So how do I access the AWS certificate manager?
Accessing the AWS Certificate Manager, ACM, to manage SSL TLS certificates for your applications is a straightforward process. Here's how you can access ACM and start managing certificates. Step 1. Sign into the AWS Management Console.
Okay, so you can always just search for everything in AWS, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to search for Certificate Manager. All right, and now I got all the values I need to continue, and I didn't leak any information that might be used in a bad way. I know everyone watching this is, you know, an angel. You wouldn't be watching this if you were just trying to, if you're doing something more, you know, if you want my $5 in my bank account, by all means. But let's see here. So yeah, so the next step is to then go back to the book. Yeah, I exited out of the book. So here we go. 71% of the way there. So makes sense to continue with this for sure. So I got double click it, I think. Yep. And oh, you know what? I need to go back to the tutorial here. So at this point I should be able to deploy all the stacks because I have the real values in here. I'm a little bit worried if I do this command though it will show some of the real values. So I think I'm gonna do it off camera and then come back with the results. All right, and while that's running, I can do some research. I actually got this message here, which doesn't contain any personal information or anything like that. My version of Node went back to 14. I spent a lot of time upgrading that, so I don't know why it's at 14. I thought last time it was above. It was actually too new. It was at like 23 or 24 or something like that. So I might be able to use NVM to do a newer version. I'll do that off camera. So here's what I'm seeing. It's just sitting at this message here, not doing anything else. So I think I'm gonna hit a Control Z and stop that, and then I'll try to upgrade my version of Node. I'm gonna do a cat etc os release. There we go. I am on 22. So I'll do an nvm -- help, and then I'll use a command here. Hopefully that will update it. So let's do a pipe grep update. Okay, something like that. Upgrade. Yeah, so let's use this command. Attempt to upgrade to the latest working npm. All right, and for the sake of keeping the video watchable, well, kind of a lost cause, but I'll pause it and then come back when this is further along. All right, I'm back for a check-in here. Nothing happened. So I don't know if it's still working. I do see it says rollback failed optional. So I don't know if it's in the middle of working right now or if it's just not going to work. I guess it never hurts to ask ChatGPT, so I'm going to do that. Well, it hurts if you give it sensitive information. If you're using it at work, make sure to adhere to the policies. There typically are policies for usage of it. All right, so let's see here. Oh, yeah, I just fed it directly, countering it. Okay, so there is an issue there. The warning is usually a non-critical error, but it might be preventing things. So I guess I could just install a specific version, because we saw in the prior one, it has to be, as of the current release of the software, supported node releases are above 20. And so 20.x.x, any version 20.x.x, and then any version 18.x.x. So let's try it with 20. Let's do nvm use. Well, let's do an nvm list to see what we got, and then do an nvm use. Somehow it's switched, so we're gonna do an nvm, and then -- help pipe grep list, or let's do a nvm dash help. NVM ls. There we go. Oh yeah, so we have 21.7.4. Now the thing is, we need like a version 20. So let's switch to using this. So we're gonna do nvm use, and this is the 20.x version. So we do need to install it first. So let's do that. All right, looks good to me. And then now we can use it. All right, so I shouldn't have that error anymore. So I'm going to go back up to this command. Yep, this is the key command. And I will do this off camera in case that sensitive information shows up, but I'll report the results soon. All right, I'm back, and there's no warning anymore, which is great. There's no output, and the reason for that is it's accepting standard input right now. It's supposed to just hang like that because it's deploying the application. So the next step is to actually see if the application has been deployed, to try to go to the application and use the application. So we're gonna go here. We've got all the code here. So everything's good to go. So the application's deployed. So now we need to actually try to go and use the application that's been deployed. So I think so. We've got the cert, we've got the zone name. So I think what I need to do is to go into AWS, look at my VPC that I've really got, and then try to view that in a browser. So I'll work on that. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I'm pretty lost. I'm not sure what to do here. So I might end the video. I think I have to go back to the book. Yeah, I have to go back to the URL shortener example. So I'm gonna type in URL-shortener. And oops, it looks like I don't find that. So here we go. So we're going to take the example and modify it. So now we've got a hyperlink to the example. There we go. And then it says we're going to modify it. So there we go. So pwd serverless deployed. So I got that working. And then we modify the code. Yeah, so anyway, it's working. I really hope I don't get charged. I've really only got a half an hour for this video, so that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.